mohon dibantu untuk direspon pertanyaan dari peserta di chat box. Bapak Ibu, ladies and gentlemen, now we will move on to the next speaker we have here. Saya mau cek dulu ada Ibu Profesor Erna sudah bersama kita. Our speaker is Professor Nimade Ernawati, MATM, Ph.D. She is the head of Tourism Department of Politeknik Negeri Bali. Bapak Ibu, langsung saja saya berikan waktu 15 menit ke depan untuk Ibu Profesor Erna. Silakan, Prof.
Thank you very much, Ibu Erika. Sebelum saya mulai, I would like to address the participant as well as keynote speakers. The first one is the Excellency of Kemenparikraf and the representative, and then also Bapak Kadis Bali, Bapak Putu Astawa, and Bapak Director of Politeknik Negeri Bali, as well as Ibu Christine Bru, the representative from WTO, and then Bapak Paul Rogers, Bapak Levi Lantu, and then of course dear participants who mostly would be lecturers as well as students. On this special occasion, I was given this topic. Allow me to share my screen. The topic is evolution to green tourism. As we know that the two speakers already discussed about green tourism from the government. The first one is from the world perspective, and then the second one from the ministry is from the national perspective. Since our participants are mostly students, it is worthwhile to give also the background of green tourism, where it's come from. That would be the topic that I would present today. And then continue with the slide 2. So this green tourism is, the background would be the concerns of a population of the world because of the situation of the earth currently. Even this pandemic we are in at this moment also is caused by this situation. These concerns include threats to the biodiversity and ecosystem, and then climate change, and also undegradable waste, as well as disaster, natural disaster, and also the pandemic, all kind of disease that we need. And we do not know what is going to happen in future if we do not take rigorous action in order to sustain this earth so we can live here peacefully in a very good well-being. And that is the background of this sustainable tourism. And actually, sustainable tourism is not the first to come in the scheme of sustainable. It is start with the sustainable development. This is the initiation made by the United Nations. It is started in 1987. And this is on this meeting, the sustainable development concept is first coined formally. I'm sure before that year and before that date, people are already done this kind of sustainable action incrementally in different areas as well as in different time. However, as a world, as a whole, we start from this year. And tourism, sustainable tourism is not yet even thought of until the year 1992, where there is the next meeting from the WCED, World Commission Environment Development, happening in 1992, wherein the concept of sustainable tourism was bring forward. This is happening in Rio, Brazil, And then tourism is used as one of the tools or one of the ways to solve the problem of the world, especially the poverty. From that, at that moment, actually, we start with sustainable tourism, I mean the movement. But before that, tourism is already developed. It is start from the earlier stage of tourism where not many people are able to travel. Or maybe I can show you some of the on the graph here. So tourism is actually start in 1960s, and then not many people are traveling. So the impact, negative or positive, is not that much. But when mass tourism is started, this is the lifespan would be 1960s until 1980s. This is the mass tourism is coming, and the world is not really prepared with this big number of people moving throughout the world, which caused a lot of negative impact. And then come this sustainable development from the United Nations in 1987. And then from that time, sustainable tourism began. Even though at the early stage, it is happening that sustainable tourism is only applied for small-scale tourism, or what we call alternative tourism. Which also have the plus and minus of it. We can discuss it a bit later. And then after that, as the main weakness of the alternative tourism is the revenues, very small revenue, which is unable for any place to develop sufficient infrastructure and facilities for the tourism. Yet, we need mass tourism to cover this cost. However, we also need alternative tourism, especially in the pocket in the villages where tourism benefit could reach directly to the local. And then come the movement in 1980s as as the world need both alternative tourism as well as mass tourism for different purposes. So the urge, the world urge that all type of tourism, regardless of the scale, need to be sustainable. So from that time, I think all organization, government, individual, and private sector work together in materializing these principles. However, doing that is not easy. Yeah, a lot of things needs to be done because sometimes our need is in contradictive with the issue of sustainability. Sometimes we really want to be sustainable, but then we need to compromise our comfort. That is the issue. Or sometimes we need to compromise the level of our profit. That is why one of the reasons why implementing the sustainable tourism is difficult. I continue with this evolution of green tourism as the topic that I was given. This one. And then there are, if we talk about the alternative tourism in detail, there are many, the characteristic of alternative tourism, which is positive. And then also, I can show you some on the slide here. Oh, by the way, this is the principle of sustainable tourism. I'm sure it is available. Yeah, I just quote it here, like this is holistic planning, and then preserving of the important ecological process, and then the urgency to protect heritage and biodiversity, and then productivity as sustainability for the future generation. I think this 4 principle is the basic principle of sustainable development, and then this is developed further by the United Nations as well as by government, as well as private sectors, also the community. So if we want to participate in this movement of sustainable development, sustainable tourism, this is the item that we need to consider. I will not explain about this concept of sustainability as it was explained before by both speakers. So I move on to the next one. All right, so this is our choice now, as we know that it is a must for the people if we want to still live peacefully. We have no other choice but to live sustainably. So it is rather a compulsory rather than a choice at this moment. I also read in some publication, it is said that even the pandemic is caused by this unsustainable way of us living on this earth. Yeah. And then going back to this sustainable development goals, yeah, there are 17. This is outlined by our United Nations. I'm sure Christine are very familiar with this one. I think from this is very holistic. If any one of us in every corner of the world, if we want to implement this or participate in this sustainable development, this would be the checklist that we can use. This is a very holistic, covering every aspect of our life, including tourism. And just quote this, I think, because this is the basic principle that we need to know when we implement either it is sustainable development or sustainable tourism or green tourism. I already explained this one, and then I just want to show you some characteristic of the alternative tourism. So this one, just in case some students wonder what would be the characteristic of alternative tourism. As I said, this is the form of sustainable, the early form of sustainable tourism. Actually, it is only covering alternative tourism. Only later then it is imposed that sustainable tourism is not only for alternative tourism, but also for mass tourism. Why is that so? Because mass tourism is not totally bad. Yeah, there are some aspect, good, positive aspect of mass tourism. That is why we need to actually embrace both type of tourism. So obviously, the economic scale of mass tourism is much better than alternative tourism. I think this is the main reason why we need to still keep this mass tourism. Only we need to manage it in a sustainable way. This slide mainly presents about the choice that the industry could make in order to participate in the sustainable tourism, and I'm sure this is still general guidelines and government in every level, national or regional, even province already distribute or this into a more detailed implementation guidelines. Because of the time, I think I will just go straight to the green tourism. Yeah. So green tourism, firstly, it was understood as nature tourism or ecotourism, because as we know, the aspect of sustainability covering three The first one is economic, and then social, cultural, and the last one is natural. So green tourism initially was understood as ecotourism or natural tourism. So this is, I quote few of the definition from some experts and authors. And then later, because people like to use this term green tourism, green living, green economy, green accounting, and so on. And then the definition of green tourism, it was expanded, and at this stage, it was green tourism is equal to sustainable tourism, which is covering or considering the needs, fulfilling the needs of our present, including the community, industry, tourists, as well as considering the needs of the future generation in all of their aspects of life. And then my last slide, I quote this from some source. It is just that implementing sustainable tourism, sustainable development, green tourism need to be in collaboration, government, community, industry, consumers. So in every part or in every corner of the world, we could participate actually in this movement, as we know this is not a choice anymore. It is an obligation for every one of us to participate in this type of movement. So this green living concept in tourism comprise of four. The first one include what we eat, how we travel, how we use and dispose, and then what we buy. So this is mainly maybe in our private space we can actually implement this. And then of course government in different level, international or national, they also have their own scheme. At least in our private space we could implement this as well. And if everyone in the world do the same, of course we will do better in regard to sustaining the earth. I think that is my last slide. Thank you very much. I think I return the time to Ibu Moderator, Ibu Erika. Silakan Ibu.
Thank you very much indeed. Terima kasih banyak Profesor Ernawati, Ibu Ketua Jurusan Pariwisata Politeknik Negeri Bali. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Erna was elaborated further about the evolution of sustainable tourism starting from early stage 1960 and then move on to 1980 for mass tourism and then sustainable tourism alternative, late 1980s to early 1990, and then sustainable mass and alternative tourism 1990s until present. And then there are also four basic principles of sustainable development elaborated by Ibu Professor Ernawati about holistic planning and then preserving important ecological processes and then protecting heritage and biodiversity, which is very critical. And the fourth point will be productivity as sustainability for our future generations. And then one point that I captured earlier, that pandemic is caused by the unsustainable way of living. So then I'm sure that we all agree that sustainability become our common need. So then, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, there's a presentation from Professor Nimade Ernawati, MATM, Ph.D., Head of Tourism Department of Politeknik Negeri Bali. And now